Everybody, what's up? Another session of Brian Speaks On. I am Brian, moderator and creator of Brian Speaks On and patriarch of Team Awesome. I want to get right into this one because it may be a long one. Hopefully it's not. You know I do. Black people, yeah. It's time for us to talk. Black people, yes. Got a lot of people feeling certain types of way about the elections and how things are going to go. We're not even going to talk about the GOP. It's just, especially this year, it's just complete pointless. But in regards to Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, we have a lot of confusion. We have a lot of mistrust and distrust issues going on. And a lot of those things I think are valid, you know, in regards to both candidates, in terms of Bernie being someone who hasn't made an impact on the black culture. You know, he hasn't resonated. He doesn't have like a resume, you know, as it applies to black people and stuff. Hillary, we all know, and a lot of us don't have a sense of trust about because of her, you know, machinations with the machine, you know, with the systematic machine. And a lot of people are expecting more of the same if she gets nominated. Now, this is a platform to jump into a much broader topic, as you know how I like to do. And it really doesn't have much to do with Bernie nor Hillary, but what it really has to do with is black cultural empowerment and the sense of we allow things like this to absolutely have cataclysmic effect on black people, you know, depending on who becomes elected as president, you know. And it's a valid thing right now in the sense of who you vote for as a black person makes such a great impact on your livelihood. And this isn't specifically a black thing. It's really more of a class thing, you know, if you want to really, you know, speak on it in a general sense. It's not subjected strictly to black people, and by black people I mean black and Latino people as well. But these things affect black people and Latino people in a very in a much more disproportionate way. It's a whole different ratio, you know. So again, I'm not excluding non-black people. It's just that I'm speaking on this from the perspective of how it just more proportionately affects black people, you know. So I would love for everybody to listen to this, though, hopefully. And yeah, going back to the point, we allow things like this to so greatly impact our livelihoods because we don't have the cultural established infrastructure of power that other cultures have. And that's the main reason why I direct this more specifically to black people, because of that aspect of it. So that's the angle that I want to look at it from, is the fact that since we don't have this kind of infrastructure of power, we allow forces like this to impact our lives so severely. And of course, the obvious question is, well, what are we supposed to do about it? And the obvious answer is we're supposed to establish black cultural empowerment, you know. But there are things that we have to stop doing in order to achieve that. First of all, we have to stop thinking as individual people living individual lives. First of all, you know, that goes without saying. You know, I live my life, you live your life. But the thing is that we are not in frequency with each other like other cultures are in frequency with each other. Other cultures, they're living their own lives too, but they are living also with a frequency towards each other within their culture, and it establishes a sense of cultural balance, identity, and empowerment eventually, because they will rock with each other in a certain way that we don't rock with each other. Also, we need to stop making other people rich off of us. The problem with any candidate that gets elected is that it doesn't stop the system of usage towards black people. Ever since we've been given, the ability to earn livings in a certain, to a certain percentage of equality, we have been manipulated and directed into becoming strictly consumers. We live a life of consumerism. We make other people rich, we stay broke. And we also have developed this psychological problem of playing the broke people game. And the broke people game is to look like you're not broke, and to do everything you can to not look broke, to show other broke people that you're not broke. And everybody's playing the same game towards each other. So once you actually start to get certain stuff, you self-sabotage yourself. Like, you get a good job, and this job actually pays you a livable wage, but you're still so stuck in the keeping up with the Joneses attitude, is that your immediate thought process is to all the stuff you can get that serve no purpose to anything substantial. And everybody's playing the same game with each other, and therefore everybody is still broke and looking at each other like, look what I got, as compared to look at what you don't got. We have to stop playing that game, because everybody's broke. We're all living in the same hood. It's like when you see that person with a ermine fur coat on, and they're riding the train with you. Yeah, we're on the same train. We're on the train together, but you just want to show people that you can buy a fur coat. That's nice. So again, we are making other people rich instead of cultivating our own empowerment. We are not putting our money together as a culture. And people who know me, I speak about this all the time when it comes to other cultures. They pull their money together, even when they don't do it as like this conscious strategy. They still do it. They shop in their own neighborhoods. They give money to shop owners of their culture, even if they don't necessarily know them. They shop within their districts, within their, amongst each other. They build up their own, even if it's not, like I said, even if it's not with this conscious thought process of, I'm going to further my people's cause. They're just so programmed to do it. It's second nature. We don't have that. We have to start building and supporting our own. When you see people of our own culture developing things as business people and not as consumers, you need to consume with them. If their stuff is quality, of course. You can't be supporting stuff that's just garbage. But we have a lot of people out here now, starting from as early as pre-teens, developing their own businesses, and that's awesome. And we post stuff on Facebook, and we show pride and say, oh, look at this kid is 11 years old and he's making bow ties, and he's got this he got this huge endorsement from the people from Shark Tank, and we sitting there and we're clapping and applauding, and it's like, yo, right on. And then don't nobody go and buy one of their bow ties. His own people. We can't just sit there and applaud and not support economically. Where's the expression? It's like when you're in a relationship with someone and you say, yeah, but I love you, and that person says, well, love is not enough, and you sit there with the quizzical face like, I don't understand. How? You cannot just give a particular kind of support. If you really love someone, you will support that person you love in the means that will further lift them. Because lifting them as a byproduct helps you out. So you're actually doing something for your own betterment as a byproduct of helping somebody else out. One of your own. And again, I'm not saying, when I say one of your own, I'm not trying to be a separatist and all that. I'm not trying to be all militant with it. I'm just talking about establishing a cultural identity of power, empowerment, infrastructure. That's it. That's all it's about. It's not anti anything else. It's just strictly pro black culture. And once we establish that kind of ESP with each other, and we're building, we're moving now. We're hiring our own because we're going to our own for work. We're not waiting for the government to give us work. We're not waiting for people who don't have our better interests at heart to give us work. We're doing for us. And the same thing applies to living conditions. Things like gentrification and stuff like that, I don't have the same anger towards stuff like that a lot of black people have, because I don't think that there is a sense of racist motivation when it comes to things like gentrification. I do think that there is a very amoral business sense about it, and it just so happens that the people who are more affected by that become black people because of the certain areas that are getting bought up. But you cannot absolve yourself of self-responsibility and self-accountability, because who lowered the value of the hood? They didn't. You did. You've been living there all your life. You have inherited this apartment from your mom, who inherited it from their mom. Let's be real. So you lower the value of the property, and someone who has an established form of infrastructural cultural power can come and purchase it right up from under you. And if your game is not on their level, then you lose. That can apply to any area. It could apply in reverse. If we got our stuff together, we could buy our own hood. And again, every time I bring this up, people look at me crazy. Like, I ain't got money like that. I can't even buy a co-op. Because once again, going back to the beginning, we are living lives as individual people instead of as a culture. I'm gonna just make a quick breakdown. Say we live in a particular projects. Live in the projects. I'm not even talking about the entire community. I'm just talking about the projects itself. How many units are in a projects? We're talking, you could have anywhere between 4 buildings to like 10 buildings, that's regarded as the projects. It's a lot of people. Imagine if everybody contributed $50 from the projects. And I was going to say $20 initially, but then I had to start thinking about where I'm going with this, and you'll understand when I get to that point. Imagine if everybody gave $50. That's a lot of money, right? It's enough money to buy your own buildings. You could probably buy the property that you're living in right now and being suppressed by, landlords that don't care about you. Now you're part of a cooperative because you contributed to the purchase of the property that you are now going to be able to live in. You just bought the hood. And now, because you bought the hood, you get to pay lower taxes on stuff. You get to live in an affordable manner. Now, I said $50 because, of course, not everybody can live in your new hood, because the people who are bringing the value of the hood down can't live in the new renovated version. So those people got to go. And everybody that's left, all of the respectable working people who are not pitching and hustling and bringing negative energy and violence and crime into your area, are now vetted and filtered out. You just played the game that they're playing. Now, now that we have given that example with you being the person doing the buying and doing the vetting and doing the filtering, is it a bad thing? Is it an evil thing? No. You want to live a better life, and you want to be among other people who share your values and share that sense of similarity. But we just did it in a way where everybody is rocking. Well, at least everybody with the best, with the right intentions are rocking. But your people, our people, in an infrastructure of community empowerment, we can do things like this. It's not even that hard. It's not even that big of a process. I'm just saying, let's start thinking, and let's start thinking from different angles here. Let's start playing the game the way everybody else who's succeeding and getting ahead is playing the game. We can do the same thing, but we need to get together. And again, it doesn't even require like big rallies and things like that. It's just a matter of getting your mind right. If everybody in their home, as individuals, gets their mind right, the immediate byproduct is everybody else benefiting. And there are other things that I can get into as it applies to this methodology, but of course I've already spoken too long, and I just want to wrap this up by saying thank you for watching. The Brian Speaks On format will be changing as the weather gets warmer. I will be getting out into the streets and asking people things based on the monologues that I give. So look for a more interactive version of Brian Speaks On coming, and there are some other projects coming along the way as well. I thank you all, and speak on this. Let me know how you feel, what your thoughts are, and if you have some information that can better enlighten me on this subject, please pass it on, because you know me, I'll speak on that too. Alright, later, bless up.